What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the More Than Philly Sports Network. It is great to be here with all of you today, Monday, August 22nd, 2022. Man, this year keeps flying by. As always, joined alongside by my co-host, Gavin Tony, wearing the hat of the 3-13 New York Yankees.
Oh,
Who would have thought I'd be talking such bad on the Yankees? First of all, I hope you guys noticed some of the new changes we have. Number one, we have the beautiful Philadelphia skyline behind us on the actual ground. We got our brand new look this way, logo for the More Than Philly Sports Network. And I've got the New York skyline behind me. So we're kind of doing a few different cities here. This, as you can tell, is probably not my usual spot. It is not. I'm finally in a different spot, Gavin. This is only the third show that I'm doing not in front of the amazing white backdrop in my undisclosed location. I'm in a new undisclosed location. I just set up a new studio today. I have a green screen behind me. There are a few reasons that we set up this studio. Number one, of course, for the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. And there's a few other things under wraps. We will talk about it later in the week. We have a few major announcements as a brand new show will be coming to the network. But that's all we're going to say for now. Gavin, we have a lot to talk about. We have had a lot of fun in this month of August off the show. We have our fair share to cover on the show, talk about the Philadelphia Phillies today. A couple other things. This is called the Evening 15. First and foremost, I want to introduce it. Today, we're probably going to run longer than 15 minutes, but during our new school year on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, it is going to be a little tight to fit in a full show. So instead of just not doing it all together, because we've all missed that, and I know all of our fans have missed it as well, we want to at least give you 15 minutes, 5, and 5, or if you want to throw a few other things in there as well. 5 minutes for baseball, 5 minutes for football, 5 minutes for basketball, hockey, and any other miscellaneous sports that we want to touch on. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be normal. They will be full 1-hour shows, sometimes half hour, depending on our schedules, but we're going to make sure to keep everybody up to date. In addition, we are going to begin recording a weekly, just an hour-long podcast, just talking about catching up on life, as well as a few other things in the sports world. And when we can, we want to do some Eagles pregame and postgame live. We will be doing a lot of Phillies, especially if there's a Red October. There will be shows during Phillies playoff games before and after. We are currently in talks with a local restaurant in Westchester, PA, for a partnership to do a live show from there at least once a month. So, Gavin, it's been a little bit of some quiet time on the show, but behind the scenes, it's been really exciting. Again, I mean, I feel like we've done this a few times, just apologizing for being MIA here on the show. But life goes on, and we're not fading from the darkness. This is something we started. This is our third year doing it. It has been a blast so far. It has made us as friends much closer. I somehow survived 3 days with you in New York City. Something we're going to touch on here in just a minute, because that was a great trip.
Wait a minute. It wasn't my ankle that was messed up. It was yours.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a little bit. But in all seriousness, it's been a blast. It's been fun. And now, Gavin, a lot of exciting things coming up. Again, I can't anticipate what we have coming up later in the week for a special announcement. I'll be dropping on my Instagram. We'll be announcing it over a couple of different social media platforms. But with that being said, push all that aside. Let's get back to what we do best. More Than Philly Sports Network live here. Gavin, how you been? Fill me in, and you can let everybody know a little bit about what happened in
Where you want me to start? You want me to start there? You want me to start with me personally, or we're like?
Start with you personally. Let's start there.
Zach, I've been good. Month of August has been up and down. It was great. The first week of August was great. Then unfortunately I fell victim to the coronavirus. I am A-okay, everybody. I'm all good back outside and doing everything. That was 2 weeks ago, Zach. The one thing I will notice is that sitting at home, the symptoms is real. But luckily, like everybody else in my household was okay. It was just me. So I got to sit in my room. I don't know if you noticed, Zach. You got a different background. Mine is the same, but it's darker in here. And it's a long story. But all in all, I've just been good, man. Just been getting ready, trying to prepare myself for the school year. I feel like I can't, every time I think about it, I just get frustrated. I got to meet a couple of great people outside the show, through the show, actually. And one of them might be a guest on here, Zach. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to talk to him. Hopefully, would love to come join us on here. But all in all, Zach, I've been good, pretty much outside the show. And for everyone that wants to know where we've been, because I feel like we owe them an explanation, right? We went to New York twice. We did a day trip, and then we decided to run it back again and go for a couple of days. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I never walked so much before in my life, especially on the day trip. Zach, we walked 14 miles from the Garden to Times Square to Fifth Avenue, all the way down to Chinatown. Guys, basically, we went from Midtown to downtown. We walked that. And for those who know me personally and in IRL, not behind the screen, you guys know I don't know how I did it, but I did it. But that trip was fun, and we were like, we had to come back. And when we went back for the second time, we stayed for a couple of days at the Millennium, right? Zach, Millennium downtown
Yep.
on the 35th, 34th.
A little further south than that, right near the World Trade Center in that
Or like the
complex.
floor,
I forget the avenue name, but this our subway station was just the World Trade Center.
but the floor was what, 34th floor? We were 34th floor.
Yeah, we were up there. It was a tall building.
Listen, 3 nights with this guy. I'm just playing. But we had fun. We went to all 5 boroughs. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we went to Staten Island. I don't consider it a borough because it takes forever to get there. And
That was fun.
it
That
was
was
fun.
very
You know, it
enjoyable.
was fun. It was fun. It was fun. But I don't consider Staten Island a borough. We also went to Brooklyn with Zach personally. My
Great.
favorite. My favorite.
Phenomenal.
All right,
Correct.
Brooklyn between shout out to Ayana and the Simpsons. If you're ever near Barclays Center, you gotta go there.
Right near it. Right near it.
Go say what's up to Ayana for me. And then I got I got Zach to go to Jamaica Queens. and that was a fun little story in the song. We're not gonna get too deep and just know that Zach, you my friend, you stood out in Jamaica Queens for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons.
We got to all 5 boroughs. That's
You got
all I
all
got.
five girls, so you know.
And we got to the Bronx, of course, for a Yankees game, but it was scorching hot.
It was scorching hot, but Zach, I called it. I said Garrett Cole was gonna get lit up, and he gave 2 home runs in the first inning. So I guess
they've been bad. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but
I
they've
don't know
been.
if I'm wearing this.
The
But
Gavin curse. He knocked out Dustin Johnson. Now he knocked out the Yankees.
Whoa. The Gavin curse. I kind of like that. Let's see what else I can do.
Put on a shirt.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we went to nightlife. We went out at night. Had a couple fun. Shout out to Sam from O'Hara's. We love her to death. And just New York was a blast from the minute we got off the train. Zach, personally something happened to me as soon as we got off the train, but we're not going to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this is all over the place, but the first day we got there, it was misting. We walked to Wall Street. We walked all the way down to Wall Street and said, Zach, let's go to ESPN headquarters. We met. Zach, I wish I had a picture up right away. It's going to take me a minute to put. We met Mike Greenberg, where Zach spotted. I don't know how he saw him.
And then we met a
mile away. And then we met the Pivot Podcast, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, and Ryan Clark, RC. It was just a good trip. We missed on Stephen A. We're going to go back up there, and I'm going to give him a few words. But, Zach, it was just a movie. It's like everybody asked, how was your trip? I said, you have to be there. You had to be there. We tried to invite friends up. Everybody was too scared to come join us. But, Zach, it was just a movie from the start to finish. Even the last night, which we don't want to get into, but we walked around Midtown. We saw Rockefeller Center and the
plaza.
And we also and the Edge, Zach, the Edge. Just guys, it's all over the place. It was a movie. We need to have another talk show just to talk about the trip. Zach, what do you think?
We will. Maybe that would be the debut show on an unnamed show, which I keep making people anticipate. Again, be here Thursday to hear the announcement of the new addition to the More Than Philly family. But listen, great trip overall.
Yeah.
A few things I emphasize when I go places culturally, the people, the food itself, and sports. And
I will say this.
We hit all 3 of those.
Zach is, I want to say 3-1. I'm gonna give you 3-1. I'm gonna give you 3-1.
On the food?
Yeah, on food.
What are you knocking down?
Maybe the first trip.
The first trip.
The first trip, that little restaurant that was like really small, that was like tight.
The Chinese one, I like that one.
I like the second one we went to. The first one was the Italian guys in the Little Italy. That guy was funny. I liked him. The service was he was funny.
It was fun. It was good chicken. Unfortunately, pasta. But listen, anyone that wants to go, if you
I learned a lot about Zach. He doesn't eat pasta. I just learned that trip.
You should have knew that. The cheese is good too. So if everyone's good in New York City, I mean, Gavin and I are always down. We've become masters of Midtown and South.
Midtown and Southern, and I am the king of Brooklyn. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. And Zach, finally, before we get started, there's no such thing as bees in New York. So I thought the
Yeah,
CEO
that's
of Zachary
not
Star would
true.
go to a restaurant and he gets tore. I literally watched it happen. Like I had a perfect view. Zach gets stung 3 times in the ankle, and oh boy, that was just. But I gotta give it to him, Zach. Guys, Zach limped across the Brooklyn Bridge. Zach is not the one to take any like he doesn't sit down for anything. He just nonstop. He goes. You know his ankle and foot was hurting when he said, "Yo, we should just sit here for a minute, just relax." And we sat the Brooklyn. We stopped twice. He lived across the Brooklyn Bridge, guys. He
It's
went
a
all the way
long bridge. It
long
was a
bridge. It
long
was
bridge.
hot. It was hot. But all in all, guys, it was fun. We're like, I feel like that's my second city. You know,
It's a good time. Yeah, bees. Apparently, bees do exist in metropolitan areas. I don't know what they're going to pollinate, but yeah, bees got the best of me on this trip. But it was fun time. We are
that sounds
not
like a
done
good country song.
traveling. We have a lot of trips in store for the future. But with that being said, Gavin, we got to get started at some point talking about what we do best, which is sports. The Philadelphia Phillies have been on a roller coaster this season. But if you look at it from the pure number side, the Phillies are 25 games above 500 since Rob Thompson took over, or just about 25 games over 500. If he was here from the jump, is there a chance the Phillies are in a much better position than they are right now? I think that there's a chance, but not major. I think that this has really come down to the front office and putting the right guys on the field. And honestly, I still don't think the Phillies have the right guys on the field. I've been the pessimistic one this year. Gavin's been the optimistic one. It's reversed of what last year was. What I realized when I look at this Philadelphia Phillies team is the pitching is no longer the problem. Now, yesterday was one example of not proving my case. But for the most part, pitching has not been the problem. Aaron Nola should not be 8-10 right now. It is absolutely criminal that he is. With a 3.1 ERA, he should not be 8-10. Almost any other team, he's probably got an 11-6 record, or I can't do the math that quick, 11-5 record. Zach Wheeler's been hit or miss, which is a disappointment. But we did not expect him to be as good as he was last year. He's still playing fine. But Nola has returned to ace status. Kyle Gibson, for the most part, has been really, really good this year. He has a few bad innings, but for the most part, he puts together innings. He's not your 3. Honestly, your 3 right now is probably going to be it's hard because it's not Noah Syndergaard, who's going to be fine as a 4 or 5 option. But right now, there's just a couple guys that we look at that we don't know who the 3 is going to be. Depending on how the first 2 games go in the playoffs, it could really come down to that quick decision by someone like Rob Thompson and that entire staff. The Phillies have gotten red hot. They have beaten all the bad teams. They've kept up with the good teams, but the Mets have just crushed them. They've had their number this year. Splitting with the Braves is fine. Here's my instinct. Here is what I think. The Phillies are playing the Reds. They're playing the Pirates. They're playing the Giants, which are not as good as they used to be or last year. Then they have the Braves cut twice. Play the Blue Jays. The Phillies just have to do better than the Brewers and the Padres. At this point through the season, they're pacing 94 wins. If they maintain it as above 500 as they were yesterday, they win 94 games. And that should be good enough with 3 wildcard teams to make the playoffs. And Gavin, that's a big success in my book. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Phillies will be lucky to get out of the first round. First of all, I hate to say it, but I would rather have the Phillies be the last wildcard team in. You're riding on the outside a little too much, which is very uncomfortable, especially for a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 11 years. But the winner of that goes to Milwaukee or St. Louis for 3 games. I like our chances against those teams much better than the Mets and, of course, the Dodgers.
You like them better than Milwaukee? Like,
I'll take St. Louis or Milwaukee over any other team in the NL East. They play 3 games against them, you have a chance. Then you go to the NLDS. I'm already happy. They make the playoffs, I'm happy. The Phillies aren't built to be good. Not yet, at least. The pitching is not all the way there yet. They've improved a lot, but the hitting is not where it should be. And it makes sense. Kyle Schwarber is a home run hitter. He's not a contact hitter. He's actually done really well the last few days, but he's not a contact hitter. Hoskins is 2 hit or miss. Alec Bohm has been phenomenal this year. Another guy Gavin successfully bullied into being good.
Still can't feel it.
Bryce Harper has been out of the lineup, by the way, for months, and the Phillies are still as good as they are. They probably tipped one or 2 of those Mets games with Bryce Harper. Maybe just 1. But Harper makes that big of a difference. He's the only hitter in this lineup above 300. Gavin, we're talking about a team that will win 94 games this year, and they still don't have a single hitter above 300. that is qualified for it. Of course, you can talk about the guys like Nick Maton who have not met the minimum at-bat requirement. But the Phillies have a lot of contact hitter work to do. Castellanos is going to have a better year next year than this year. Schwarber's probably going to about stay where he is. He's cooled off substantially. But you spread out that June over the rest of the season, that's probably what he's going to do for the next 4 years that he's here. JT is severely overpaid and under-delivering. This team has its flaws, but you can rip apart any team in the MLB. I think it's pretty easy to rip apart. Look at San Diego right now. So, of course, the Phillies have a lot of holes. It's easy to poke them in it. But I will say this. I'm very impressed with how they've done this year. I will be very disappointed if they don't make the playoffs. Making the playoffs by itself is a win for this season. We did not expect much more than it this year. At least you shouldn't have expected much more than it this year. Rob Thompson, I think, should get the nod next year unless there's a huge collapse in September. And if he does, let him hire his own staff. Take it from there step by step. Need at least 1 or 2 300 hitters. Probably just one. But you need guys that are not hitting 220, 210, 195. I don't even know. The outfield is so thin right now. Starling Marte would have been a great acquisition in the offseason. I wanted him, and the Phillies did not get him. So that's where I stand on Philadelphia. They got to keep winning games. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh got to win these next 7, or at least 5 or 6 out of 7. Gavin, like you said, the majority. They've been doing that. They're beating up on the bad. They're sweeping the horrible teams. They're taking 2 of 3 from the bad teams. They're taking 1 of 3 from the good teams. And they're still 1 of 4, sometimes getting swept by the great teams. That's where they are. They are a top 12 team in baseball. They're ranked at 10 right now. And they're playing like it. I mean, they're playing where they should be. So I'm not sure what there's to argue. There's so much we can look at. Ruben Amaro trading away the future and on all these different picks and all these failed draft picks and Mickey Moniak being traded out of town like it's nothing. And, of course, losing out on one of your top prospects, Spencer Howard, last year. Of course, you had Kyle Gibson in return, which I'll take that. Spencer Howard's been horrible. They might finally get it right. There are 2 guys in AA right now that are doing really, really well. Andrew Painter is on fire. Give it a year or 2, he might be up in the bigs making some noise. So the Phillies, they got there's not many rentals here. Syndergaard's here, Gibson's here. There's a few rentals, but Castellanos, JT, Schwarber, within the next 3 years, the Phillies must contend. They must make every move possible to do so. They have a decent farm system right now. Derek Hall, if we can find a place for him, is really starting to look pretty good. I don't know. I mean, they're playing at expectations, so there's not much you can complain about. There's not much to cheer about. When a team plays at expectations, that's kind of where they should be. That's all I got.
See, Zach, why do I have to play the bad guy today? Why? The first day back, I got to play the bad guy. First of all, Zach, there's one guy in the bullpen that I've been criticizing, and not even really criticizing him of his play. I've been criticizing him for his attendance. He wasn't here. Who is that guy? Sir Anthony Dominguez, exactly. Zach, Sir Anthony Dominguez comes back this year. He has a 1.64 ERA, 44 innings pitched, 8 runs, 9 saves. Okay, the reason why I was wanting him back so much is because of that. You have a reliable guy in the bullpen. It's like, when was the last time we had a reliable guy in the bullpen? That was reliable. That you could cut the game one and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can go to sleep at night. Maybe 1 run, I can go to sleep. It wasn't Hector Neris. I mean, it's like I was there with Hector Neris hit somebody in the head and they gave a home run. Serenity Dominguez changed the direction a little bit. Now, Nicholas Castellanos, the bet is not there. Is he going to, Zach, what is he swinging at the plate? A twig? I don't know what he's seeing. Like, I really don't get it. And I was high on him coming here because it was like, that's the bet. We just need a guy that's just going to just produce day in and day out. He hasn't done that. Maybe he should sell Ben Simmons' house. I don't know. Maybe it's the Ben Simmons curse. You want to give it to me? I don't know. It's the Ben Simmons curse. But guys like Schwarber did what he's supposed to do. Guys like JT Realmuto is not doing what he's supposed to do. Zach, I think we made a huge mistake. Stubbs looks better than him some days. And that's shocking to say. A guy that was considered the best catcher in baseball, all baseball, is being outplayed by, I don't even want to say, just a role player. Guys like Bryson Stott are going to continue to develop. And then you got Alec Bohm. And Zach, here's the tricky part. Because I hear it all the time. Oh, Alec Bohm, he hit 300 during this month. I get it, but he still can't field.
He's been better.
It's been better, yeah. But
He's made some really good plays this month. He has one
really,
bad play this month, but for the most part, it's been pretty clean.
like really good play is like 5 good plays and 2 horrible ones, and they're not even plays. Say that again.
It's not that much.
Yeah, but before it was. But Zach, what I'm trying to say is the consistency of Alec Bohm hitting wise is phenomenal. He's doing what he's supposed. Zach, he's on fire. He's on. I have nothing to say. He had what 6 RBIs last night, the other night before.
Yeah, two, 3 run shots last night. They should have won.
Exactly. I don't know how you lose that game. I really don't understand that. You get Gene Segura back in the lineup. That's with somebody that you missed completely because that was a contact guy. You're gonna get Bryce Harper back, and that is pretty much surprising that this team was able to stay afloat and actually exceed expectations without him. That's the MVP. That's the running MVP. That's the guy that when you see him in the lineup, you get scared because he's gonna do anything to win. I mean, 13 years, what $330 million? I'll be scared too. But like, there's one thing I want to talk about that you touched on. Aaron Nola is just, it's like this. He hasn't been good in a while. It's like I hate to say this, but Aaron Nola should never got paid.
Noel's been good this year. I don't see that
no,
much of an issue with him.
I'm just seeing differently. I just see like okay. In all fairness, is some of those losses his fault? Probably not.
No, he lost a 1-0 game last week. He lost a 3-2 game the week before that.
That's it. Okay, but there's some games I'm like, wow, Aaron Nola is really good, like really dominant, really phenomenal. And there's some games I'm like, yo, what is he doing? Same thing with Kyle
Not this
Gibson.
year. Not this year.
Matter of fact, okay, maybe not this year, but maybe we go about Kyle Gibson. There'll be days
1 earned run against the Mets, 1 versus the Nats, 1 versus the Pirates, none against the Marlins, 3 against the Nationals, 4 against the Braves. I mean, the 3.25 ERA this year, it's the best it's been since 2018.
I'm just not a believer in these two guys. Look, if you go into October, because this is one thing we preach about, you go in October, you had to know Wheeler's won. Well, okay, maybe not this year.
Wheeler's a 307 this year. I would take Aaron Nola over Jack Wheeler right now.
Okay, that's fine.
10 earned runs in his last 2 starts against the Mets.
Do you trust Aaron Nola in the playoffs, in the playoff game?
You have no choice. There's no one else to trust.
No, but like would you bet the farm? Would you bet the house? Would you bet?
I wouldn't bet the farm. Anybody would bet the farm on any pitcher in the MLB right now. Not even Garrett Cole.
Maybe DeGrom. I might bet him DeGrom.
Maybe DeGrom.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is I just don't. The pitching is it's just whenever I watch the games, like maybe I should just stop watching because I guess it might be my fault. Every time I watch the game, Gibson just 2-run shot, 2-3-run shot, or when I'm watching Aaron Nola is just losing. Like they have a horrible 5th inning. It's just not good. But I will say this though. When I said that this team should be a playoff team, your reaction was otherwise. You said they're not going to do it. They should be, but not going to. They have a chance to win 90 games. Okay, this is the best team we've seen in a while. And not everybody's playing to the max potential. JT's way underperforming. Castellanos is not even here some days. And Bryce Harper's been out for a month. Zach, if there's a red October, I'll be happy. If the Phillies lose and miss the playoffs by 1 game, everybody, I'm not even going to be mad. I'll be ready for next year. Because you know what I'm going to say about this year? I'm like, man, this is Joe Girardi's fault, which I'm a big Joe Girardi guy. This is Joe Girardi's fault. I know. This is if we lose, if we miss about 1 game, like, damn, this is Joe Girardi's fault. And this is Bryce Harper just not being here and injuries. That's all I'm going to say. But this season's success, in my opinion, from what we've seen and what we've been with the card we've been dealt with, I'll take it so far.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'm very happy with where the Phillies are right now. But let's just talk about the playoff scenario, and then we'll wrap up this topic because we do have to hit football and touch of basketball today. First things first is that in order to make the playoffs, it's the Brewers. That's it. The Brewers are a game and a half behind the Phillies. The Phillies are in that last wild card spot, destined to play the St. Louis Cardinals in a 3-game series in St. Louis. And 6 games behind them are the San Francisco Giants. 11 behind them is Arizona. So it's going to be the Phillies and the Brewers. It's going to come down to us two. We're a half game back of the Padres, so that can always flip. The Brewers have 3 games coming up against the Dodgers these next 3 days. Then pretty easy schedule for them, pretty similar to what the Phillies are going to have. And then they play the Cardinals, and then the Yankees, the Mets. That's 4 series right there remaining of teams against above 500. For the Phillies, they have a really easy schedule. Braves, Blue Jays, Braves in that stretch. So it's 4 series to 3 series. The Phillies have the easier schedule, a game and a half above the Brewers. They should make the playoffs. They should. And they wrap up the year against the Astros, which could become really close. That's all I got. We'll see where it is. We'll talk about it every day. We'll review game by game. But right now, the Phillies should make the playoffs. They should definitely.
What can go wrong will go wrong. Let's just put that out there. We hear that about another team in another sport. What can go wrong will go wrong. I'm not getting my hopes up yet. I'm just happy that they're competitive right now.
11 games above 500. That's 80. It's 93 wins. That's crazy if they maintain that rate. And they're playing a lot of bad teams coming up. So we'll continue to cover the Philadelphia Phillies. They play tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. Noah Syndergaard on the mound. We'll be back tomorrow to break that down.
Thor, right? Yeah.
Coming up after this, Philadelphia Eagles finally win a preseason game. Is there much to really watch? Honestly, preseason is kind of a joke. They should just do joint practices for 3 weeks and then start the season. Tom Brady also taking time off. He is back now. The reason possibly being revealed as to why he took off. A couple fun things coming up as the NFL season is getting ready to get started. Stay tuned.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
I do promise we do have a meeting on the books to update our ads. That will be coming soon. I promise. We also did meet someone in New York that had a good foundation worth taking a look at for donating. So a couple meetings coming up to knock that out. I promise we will have some new ads coming out where Gavin could potentially have his voice and my voice not so high pitched. But in all realisticness, if that's a word, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's try to get it done 5 minutes. We'll just start practicing our 15. Just kidding. Gavin, Jalen Hurts looked pretty good. He put 1 drive this past game. Gardner Minshew played all right. Kenny Gainwell looked pretty good. Is there much to take away so far, or is everything we believe so far pretty much holding true?
Holding true, Zach. I really haven't been paying much attention to the offense. It's the defense. Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis. Those are my spotlight guys right now. I'm really excited for this season, Zach. I really am. But I was watching Kobe Dean play versus Cleveland, Zach. Sideline to sideline. Just I know it's preseason. I want to see the intensity a little bit more, but this guy's gonna be a star.
No doubt. And Jordan Davis too. They're big guys. Let's see what Kobe Dean's been able to cover. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good year. We're going to find out. We'll make predictions and more here in the coming weeks before the opening day in Detroit. But Gavin, I mean, again, there's not much to talk about yet. It's going to be a balance. Detroit should be a pretty easy win. Again, Detroit is going to be better. I do think they are a playoff team this year, 3 years too late. But we'll cover our predictions and more as we get closer to the season.
What?
Detroit's going to be a playoff team, and the Packers won't be.
Please stop. The Packers not going to stop. Please stop. Please.
As you can see, we have quite a lot of fun coming up here for NFL season. Again, we will go through line by line. We'll do one a day next week probably to hit each division as we continue to break through it. But Gavin, let's talk about Tom Brady for a second. Tom Brady taking a couple weeks off from the team. There were some potential rumors as to what he was doing. A report came out today saying he just went on vacation with his family. My guess is that it was some sort of agreement to come out of retirement, get a chance to go on vacation before the season starts. He really doesn't need the preseason. So there's not much to this story. There's a reason that nobody in Tampa is freaking out about it. And honestly, nobody, including ourselves in the sports media, should even be freaking out about it because it's whatever. I'm not sure anybody even was concerned, but just the storyline that's been servicing.
Zach, you know the funny thing is, I feel like when Tom Brady retired, he went home for literally one day. Was like, I need to go back to work. So maybe, and then when he went
one and done for him.
One and done, and literally when he went back to work, he was like, I need a vacation. So Tom Brady, I mean, the guy doesn't. The preseason is a joke. He hasn't played in what, 2, 4, 5 years. Can't remember last time Tom Brady played a snap in the preseason.
Yeah, it's not. There's not much to it. Apparently the joint practices are so much better because you can control it. There's not really tackling going
Really?
on, but it is a more realistic feel. Was that?
I've seen a lot of fights from Jordan. I don't know. I saw on Twitter.
There are some fights.
I mean,
But
that
that happens inter-team squad too. But I do like the idea of joint practices. You spend the week working together. The game's kind of just for show. There's not much to do.
Zach, it's more like a money grab. Get your money
Honestly, it is. Yeah.
But Zach, I saw on Twitter Darius Slay said that joint practices are stupid.
I like them. I actually like them. I think they're safer. They're better than actual games, and I think it trains the team better. But speaking of that topic, we will cover this more later, but we do have to touch on it given it is the NFL. The suspension of Deshaun Watson was upped to 11 games, $5 million fine, which is just a fraction of his contract. Gavin, we've spoken on it briefly before. We, of course, as I've said before, you want to wait to see what comes out. If the NFL was going to just appeal and modify the suspension, why bother going to a private retired judge to do it in the first place? Of course, it's also a suspension that lines up perfectly for him to play against the Texans in Houston. I got nothing else until we're going to need more time to speak on that because it's just all I think is Calvin Ridley. It's about it. That's about all I got to say.
Zach, I'll just say this. Isn't sports betting legal in a lot of states? Okay. And Calvin really can't play for a year.
Whole year.
A whole year. It wasn't like he was fixing games. I mean, Zach, the Falcons.
He was betting on his team, which he was hurt.
Betting on his team, which, in my honest opinion, if I'm putting money on myself, I'm going harder to make sure I win my money. But according to NFL, you can't do that. But I can, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
We'll cover that in more detail when we do have more time. But yeah, it's part of the game.
Whatever.
Not much telling when you have the Texans game. He suspended perfectly to line up with that.
I will say this though: the Browns and Deshaun Watson, that will be on the football side of things like that. That is a nice fit. That is a nice fit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Once he comes back and plays, we're going to get a feel for the Browns. But I'm not a big fan of that Browns franchise at all. Baker Mayfield today was announced as the official starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. I don't think they go anywhere this year, but I don't think Baker Mayfield's the reason for that. Matt Rule should be fired at some point. It just has not been. They have 4 quarterbacks now that could be whatever starters. They traded for Sam Darnold last year. I think their GM should be fired after that decision. But
Zach, Robbie Anderson had the best reaction to all when they said Panthers interested in Baker Mayfield. He said no. And then when they trade for Sam Darnold, imagine you leave, you get money to leave.
And then your quarterback comes right back with you.
The quarterback comes to play with you, and the same thing happens next year. Like you can't be. If you're Robbie Anderson, man, just tired, man. Just retired.
I wanted Robbie Anderson in Philly when he was a free agent. I thought he would have been a good fit in Philly. But hey, we have our fair share of wideouts, which look pretty good right now.
Zach Pascal, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, I guess.
We'll see. We'll see about Reagor, but the rest of them look pretty good. So, with that being said, not too much in the basketball world today. We'll touch on the Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving situation as that progresses. Of course, James Harden signed the deal with the Sixers, PJ Tucker. We'll do an off-season review before the preseason even comes. But Gavin, anything else on that?
I do want to say two things, Zach. Did you see James Harden? He's skinny. Zach, I told you this last week. Remember the time I said James Harden MVP season or MVP form? I said it here and I said James Harden will average 25 and 10 this year. Watch. And Tyrese Maxey will be an all-star. He will. I'm feeling it.
As long as we don't trade him to Brooklyn, yeah.
For Kevin Durant.
Now, did you see the report today? Kyrie Irving is expected to stay in Brooklyn, of course, signing that deal with them. He has informed, the Nets have informed other teams that Kyrie is pretty much not for trade anymore.
Zach, inform other teams, meaning the Lakers, so I know what else really wanted. And Zach, finally, I have to say this. Kevin Durant, man, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, you've been at Barclays Center. What's the reason to stay there?
I mean, Zach,
they got weeds growing on the roof.
They do. The only thing, the reason why you would say Barclays Center is Samson's around the
That's true. That's about it. They've probably all been there.
I mean, they would have been on the wall.
That is true. We didn't look close enough.
Mary J. Blige was there, so yeah, I
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, NBA world, we're going to continue to touch on that. I do want to go through all the teams given off-season grades, so that's on tap this week as well, as the preseason will get underway soon. A couple of notable games. Number one, the first game of the NBA season in Boston, Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, and of course, December 25th, Madison Square Garden, Midtown Manhattan, New York City. The Sixers played the
Penn
Knicks.
Station, baby.
I don't know why they're giving the Knicks a Christmas Day game, though. They're not good.
That's what I'm supposed to say.
That's what we're getting lost in. This, as much as I love that city, the Knicks are not good.
I'm supposed to say that.
They should not get a day. But hey, there's a chance I might be there, so that would be exciting if I get a chance to go up there for that. But with that being said, I do want to touch on some other important news. Patrick Cantlay defending the BMW Championship, the first golfer in the history of the FedEx Cup playoffs to defend at one of the three tournaments. So he will be the second seed going into East Lake next week, meaning he starts with an 8-stroke advantage over the field. Scotty Scheffler is the one seed, so he will be the 10-stroke leader. It's going to be exciting. I do know with the LIV and all those things, and Bryson DeChambeau and all these guys leaving, and some different drama here and drama there, the PGA is still rock solid. The competition is still pretty good, and I'm looking forward to a really fun end of the season. Of course, the President's Cup is coming up, which for those who don't know is like the Ryder Cup, except it's the United States against the rest of the world, not including Europe, which should be a clean sweep for Team USA because they really should just combine all of them into the Ryder Cup itself. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be an exciting week in golf to wrap up the season before the new season turns around next month. NBA is coming back, NFL is coming back, and we got hopefully a red October.
Stop. The only thing red is his hat. Zach, 3 things. Did you Serena Williams is retiring. Serena Williams, not Serena. Serena Williams is retiring. Zach, that hurt my heart, but I'm okay with that because she was down there for a long time. 23, 24 Grand Slams. That's insane. Another thing for those who may not know, I am into the mixed martial art. I love UFC. Usman, how did you lose to Leon Edwards? He got knocked out. Oh man, I had the same reaction as Adriel Adesanya. I was shocked. Congratulations, Leon Edwards. And guess what? We are coming for that rematch, Usman. And Zach, finally, did you see the picture of Brandon Ingram in the gym?
I did not. I saw the hard one, but not that.
There's a picture of servicing of Brandon Ingram with no braids. He looks homeless. That's why everybody's going on crazy. They're like going on crazy, like how Jimmy Butler had the extension. You gotta look it up. It's funny.
Oh my!
But
he's got the Julius Erving look.
The Julius Erving, but
Zach, he was like Dr. J. It's a little messier, but
he just needs a retwist. That's all. But Zach, all in all, I'm excited to be back. It's feeling good. I'm definitely talking more UFC because Usman, that shouldn't have happened. You got knocked out, buddy. I don't understand that. I never will understand how Usman got knocked out. Zach, there's a stat I'm trying to formulate that every time a fighter before a big fight goes on, the first take they lose, except for Israel Adesanya.
You got one difference there. Just scrolling through the news of the rest, pretty much not much else to talk about. Devin Allen is fast. We do know that. Carson Wentz's horrible camp continues, but he's not playing terrible in preseason. That'll be a fun storyline to see as well. But other than that, we've covered it all today. A little bit of an abbreviated show. Tomorrow will be a little longer as we will start unveiling predictions for the NFL, get some grades on the NBA offseason, and then we will go from there again.
Free Daryl Morey. He didn't do anything wrong.
Come back Thursday for a big announcement. I will continue to push that the rest of the week. Let's hype it up as much as possible. Gavin, anything else from you?
Free Daryl Morey. He didn't do nothing wrong. There's no such thing as tampering, okay? What is tampering? And by the way, Zach, because you
wasn't he accused of tampering Steph Curry last year too?
They accuse everybody of tampering. Zach, I'm tampering right now just talking about it. But Zach, finally, because you took my thunder, I had to say, NBA, can we just not show the Knicks? I mean, you got the lineup right. You got Memphis and Golden State. Everything was great except for the Knicks. Stop putting them on Christmas. Zach, I don't want to open my presents, right, and then turn the game on and like, oh, the Knicks? Wow. I mean, there's nothing.
So it should be a guaranteed Christmas Day win then.
Well, it should be, but Zach, that's not the point. I don't want to watch the Knicks. What am I going to get for joy? Watching Spike Lee cry across the screen? No one wants to watch them. By the way, Jalen Brunson, $110 million. Okay, that's a good bench player.
So the Julius Randle deal was not good.
No, it's not. Told you it wasn't. I got nothing else.
We'll see them. If they were the 4 seed 2 years ago, they missed the playoffs last year, but they were the 4 seed 2 years ago. So
Hey,
maybe
Zach,
they'll bounce back. Maybe Tibbs has something in up his sleeve for him, but I doubt it.
final fact for me, Zach, is if you go to New York, go to any office or go to anybody and be like, you guys want to hear a joke, and just name one of the sports teams. They don't find it funny, but I find it hilarious. Zach, how many times I do that?
A couple times. The Yanks are becoming a joke too.
Zach, it was your fault, man. Zach
I'm happy about that.
Zach wore pinstripes for one day and went to a game, and now the Yankees are hot garbage. And of course, it's like the day we go that no Aaron Judge plays, and it's like 96 degrees, but it's okay.
I'm not complaining at all.
I'm not.
All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Feels good to be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay tuned for some updates on when. Brand new studio for myself, Gavin. We'll get you some studio renovations eventually. And we'll see you all.
Hector, one more. Hector, I didn't forget. I gotta put the flag on here, Zach. I didn't forget. I gotta do it. Hector,
You do need it.
I got to. The DR flag. I'm putting this on the hat. For those who don't know, find out tomorrow on why.
More storytelling. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.